all had a wonderful Christmas season and brought in the new year right. It's now 2023, and I'm so excited to just go over what happened in 2022. We haven't seen a year like this literally since 2006. And it's interesting coming into 2023. So I apologize, this video might go a little longer than normal, but there is a lot to cover, and I hope you'll find this really helpful. So let's just scroll down to the first slide here and look at some of the numbers from December of 2022. And you'll see, first of all, we're looking at detached houses here. 617 of them sold, which year over year, volume-wise, is actually down 39%. And you might think, oh, that's not very good. But you also have to factor in that our inventory was also down significantly, which you can see is 18%. So we actually have an inventory problem in Calgary right now, which I'll talk about in a little more detail later. But this is a significant thing to consider. Our actual benchmark price for detached was $619,600 for the month. That's not for the year, but that's for the month, which is a 10% increase, year over year. Semi-detached, we sold 87, and you can see 563,000 is our benchmark price there, which is a 9% increase. Row houses, interesting, 189 sold, 14% increase year over year. So our benchmark price is $358,300. So you can see where a lot of the money is going to these lower priced properties, primarily because interest rates are forcing people to do it. And then look at the sales for apartment condos. I mean, they've really risen significantly. 274,800. We're creeping up on finally where these condos were back in 2015. That's a 9% increase in price. But you can also see the fact that our year-over-year percentage is 1% for new listings, and our inventory right now at 650 is down 39% from what it was a year ago. So you can see that's the continued inventory issues that we're having. And it wasn't long ago that we had way too many condos, and now we don't really have enough. So let's just keep going down here and look at some different stats. This gives you a broad perspective of everything, and you can see that we had a total sales of 1,204. And now that's down significantly from December of 2021. But please keep in mind, December 21, it's like the tap got turned on. We came out of the whole COVID thing, and it was like there was just this pent-up demand. So that was a little bit different than we saw, in December of 22. This was actually a pretty good December. That's not too far off what I would consider to be the normal. However, the inventory at 2,214 is down 15.43%. So, we're down 30% in sales, but we're down 15.43% in sales. I got to tell you, that's not a lot of inventory. Even last year at 2,618, that wasn't a lot of inventory. We're a city of 1.4 million people. We need a lot more than 2,214 properties for sale to satisfy the demand of 1.4 million people. Like, that is not really sustainable. Look at this month's supply. Only 1.84 months supply of inventory. This is not good. We need more inventory. What happens if you don't have enough inventory? It's really simple. Prices go up. It's low supply and high demand, and that's really what's happening right now. Even though, the sales were down year over year, but this is still 1,200 sales for that low of inventory. It's not a good ratio. So our benchmark price, this includes everything, condos, all the products. We finished the year at $518,800. Now that's just the month of December. That's not the entire year. The entire year is right here at $529,318 if you average it out over the whole year. So we saw a 12.44% increase overall on all real estate products in Calgary. That's significant. From December 21 to 22, we saw 7.81%. Our median price finished at $475, and our average price finished at $516. So overall, that's just a pretty healthy year to see the benchmark price go in at 12.44%. If you don't know what the benchmark price is, that's just taking into consideration all the lower price real estate that's sold and all the higher price real estate that's sold. Because clearly, if you don't do that, you don't get a real good depiction of the exact market. All right, let's take a look at this chart. I love this chart. This gives you a really good understanding of where we came from all the way from 2007 to 22. And you can see in blue, that's the month supply. And you can see in red is the benchmark price trend. So you can see that if you go historically all the way from 2007, or you can see at the very beginning of 07, we had a situation where inventory was low. And that's why I said earlier in this video, we haven't seen this low inventory since 2006, because all of 2006 we had an inventory problem. And it wasn't until the peak of the middle of 07 before we started to see things change. And that was as we were coming into some turbulence as far as the market. And we all knew what happened in 2008 when we had the financial collapse. And that's why you can see the inventory just shot up all the way, way up here in late 2008. And then all of a sudden, boom, the government stepped in and did their quantitative easing and literally just changed everything. And all of a sudden, 2009, we were back down to low inventory levels. So you can see this level of inventory that we're at right now. I mean, this is similar to what we saw when we had prices go up in 2014, 2013. This was a very, very strong market for pricing because inventory was low. And same back over here in 2009 as mentioned, and of course in early 2007, 2006. So when you see inventory this low, this is below normal. So a lot of people were saying to me, last year, well, with the rise of these interest rates, and it looks like Canada is going to go into a recession. And I keep telling them, don't call Canada. We have to talk about Alberta. Alberta is different than the rest of Canada. We don't follow the trend in Alberta. If anybody has lived in Alberta like me for my whole life, we never follow the trend. We do things different than Ontario and BC. And right now, it's a well-known fact. We have unprecedented amount of people moving here. We have an economy that's doing quite well. We have tech companies moving here. It's not even just all oil and gas, although the oil and gas sector is doing well too. So when you put all that together, and the fact that we don't have enough inventory, even despite these higher interest rates, we are seeing price increases because people need to get in housing. And I also want you to consider this. If you look at the difference between rent and owning, even with the higher interest rates, with the rental prices going up, if you do the math, in most cases, depending on what you're buying, the cost of renting is still the same cost of ownership. So you may as well own. Why pay somebody else's landlord's mortgage? Okay, so here's the charts I love the most because they're really easy to understand. You can see right here, 58.1% of the detached homes that were listed in December sold. So we're back into seller's market territory, and that might catch some people by surprise because so many people thinking that the market is not good because of interest rates, and they're just listening to the wrong news channel, or the news channel that's reporting it is talking again more about Canada than Alberta. This is a really strong market. When you're sitting at 58% of the properties listed selling, that is definitely a very strong market. It wasn't long ago that we were sitting in the 25% range, and that was considered to be an average market. So as we move down here, let's look at the hard numbers. So that's 617 out of 1,062 sold. And on average, that's 46 days it's taking to sell a property. Here is our price distribution. This is the chart that I love the most, and you can see that the demand is still at the $500,000 to $600,000 mark is the highest demand for a detached home in Calgary. And I have to tell you, almost every single day, I get a lead that comes in off of our marketing systems of people wanting to buy in that price range. And when you consider all the inventory that's available, that we're so tight on it, there is really limited inventory in that market. And I can tell you, even in December, I listed a property for $625,000 and I sold it in one day because it's just barely over the $600,000 mark and in a highly sought after community, and it sold quick because there's such a demand and a really limited supply of inventory in that 5 to 600. And then you move to 20% of the market is 6 to 7. And, back up here, I always look at this 1 million to 1.5 million. That luxury market is holding steady at 5% of the market. So if things keep going the way they're going now, I could see this $600,000 to $700,000 range. I could see that moving up to 22-23% of the market. Okay, we're looking at the semi-detached market. Definitely a more balanced market here. It's actually slowed just a little bit in December. So 38.16% of the listings sold, and that's down from 49% in November. I actually think part of that is just the limited inventory that's available. The benchmark price, $563,000, as we went over earlier. Let's look at the hard numbers. 87 out of 228 sold. So that's down from 133, from where we were in November. So that's definitely softened up. But like I said, there's been a limited amount of good inventory there, even though there's a fair amount for sale, but it's just not great inventory to pick from. And you'll see that the semi-detached, the biggest market is between $300,000 and $500,000 because this really is the second choice for people. If you're looking at getting into a home that doesn't have condo fees, this is a good choice, and that's obviously why 300 to 500 is the biggest part of the market. The second big market, of course, is here, and that is when you get into the infills, and that's 700 to 900,000, and that's a pretty healthy, strong market and holding steady. But like I keep saying, there's still a pretty limited amount of good inventory that has good value. Some people are pushing the envelope and trying to ask a little bit more than they probably should. And, that definitely turns off some buyers. 43 days on average it takes to sell one of these properties. Not too bad. Now, what is going on in the row house or townhouse market? It's like, wow, all of a sudden the demand has just been unprecedented. Why now? Well, there's a few reasons for that. Investors want them. People who are buying their first home want them. People who are coming here from somewhere else want them. These are desirable because, they're the next best thing is to owning your own home without having to pay the cost of home ownership. These typically do have condo fees associated with them, but of course that does take care of all the maintenance of the exterior, landscaping, the whole bit, insurance on the building. So there's value in those condo fees. But you can get in, look at this, benchmark price of $358,300. So it's affordable. So no wonder 68.73% of these listings have sold. We've seen multiple offers on these properties because the demand is so high. It's kind of crazy. So you take a look, 189 out of 275 sold. I mean, that's and that's not even as good as it was. I mean, there was 249 that sold in November, 320 in October. I mean, this is just a really strong market. 42 days on average to sell, but you can see right here in the market distribution, the sweet spot is under $400,000. 42% of the market is $300,000 to $400,000. Like I said, it's affordable, and they make great investment properties because if you want to own one and rent them out, you can quite often, depending on how much money you put down and what kind of an interest rate you can actually get a cash flow from these properties. So I think they make a really good investment. The long-awaited apartment condos, where everybody has just been waiting for this market to finally come back, and it's happening. There we are at 47.85% absorption rate. Wow. I mean, slightly down from November, but for December condo market, that's really good. 274,800 is the benchmark price. As I said earlier, we're creeping back up to where we were in 2015, which was 292. So there's a lot of people who have been waiting for this day to come when they can actually get their money back from the condo price that they paid in 2015. 311 out of 650 have sold. That's just a really strong market for the month of December. Same thing as the townhouses. It's affordable. People can buy these and own them without breaking the bank. With a higher interest rate, it makes sense. 49 days on average on the market. But again, when you look at this market distribution, you can see 46%, like almost half of these condos are under $300,000. And then a big part is $300,000 to $400,000. And even surprisingly enough, 23% is under $200,000. So, I mean, almost the entire market in Calgary for condos is under $400,000. So these do make good first-time buyer properties. They make good investment properties now. It makes sense. But obviously, it makes the most sense if you're under $400,000 and you're not spending more than that, because there just isn't a big market in Calgary for that. So let me just wrap up this video by saying this. Right now, it actually is a very good time to buy real estate in Calgary. I firmly believe that we're going to see prices increase this year on average. I'm going to make a pretty bold guess, even though I don't have a crystal ball, but just because I've seen this before, I really think we could be seeing 7 to 10% price increases this year in the midst of these rising interest rates. The demand is just too high. So if you were thinking of maybe moving up or selling and buying something else, this is also a really good time to do it. Because what you could do is you could port your mortgage too. If you are locked into a lower interest rate, you could take your mortgage to the next property, and then of course you can add a little bit more mortgage money if you need it. We call that a blend and increase. And putting the two together, you can still have an unprecedentedly low interest rate, and you can move up to that property that you wanted to get into and be able to sell it for a really good price. So, you know, this really could be a great market to be moving into. But of course, you have to battle through finding the right inventory. Now, my team is set up to look for these properties both on and off the market. We do a lot of marketing for leads. And quite often we've been able to sell properties before they even hit the market. I even happened to manage to sell one recently that didn't even hit the market because we had some buyers in our system. So if you're buying, just reach out to us and give us a description of what you want to buy. And if you're looking to sell, just have a stop over and take a look at your home. We'll give you some advice on how to get it ready for selling and some strategy on how you can protect yourself from selling and not being able to find another property right away. I know that's a fear that a lot of people have. I've been here before. I've worked through markets like this, so I have some solutions on that, and I can give you some great advice. So just reach out to me. Hope this video has been helpful, and I can't wait to report to you next month and let you know what's happening then.